website on the internet revolves around displaying content on web pages. Within the software, we can come to pages where we can add, delete, or copy pages to be displayed on the site. Now, when you first launch your website, it's a good idea to think about the different pages you're going to want to have and the navigation for your customers. The easier it is for your customers to find the product they're looking for, the more likely they are to purchase it. If it's difficult to find a great product at a great price, your customer will never be able to make that purchase. It must be easy for them to find, and that all starts with your navigation and the pages. So it's really important to understand, for instance, we can combine some of our pages. So if we come to contact, within the contact page, we actually have a default contact forum widget. And what I'm going to show you is the ability to clone a page or clone a widget within a page. So we're going to clone this widget and it's going to make a copy. And if I drag this into the footer and then click save, this content is now saved in the footer, and we are choosing to not show this contact forum or page on the actual website. Instead, we're going to come to the About page, and we're going to rename this About/contact, and then come into our footer where we had our contact content or forum, bring it into here, and now it's a part of our actual page. So one way to actually quickly start beefing up your pages is to combine some of them. So the About Contact is a great two pages you can combine, and then you can turn off the contact page or essentially don't show it in menu. The same thing can be done with Request a Quote and Quick Quote. Requesting a quote allows the customer to fill out information that they then submit, and we then send them a quote back, versus a quick quote is essentially using the customer's is selecting, okay, I want this product, this many with this design and so forth, and then we're spitting out a real-time price of what it's going to cost to print that order. But what we can do is actually we can come into Request a Quote and Quick Quote and decide to not show them in menu. Now, it's a good idea to not show something in menu instead of turning it off completely. By not showing it in menu, it's still accessible. It's just not, immediately available within our main navigation. But if I come in advanced settings, and if I really wanted to turn off a page, this is where I would come. Within the advanced section, I would come into page status and actually turn it off. Within the page settings, we can override some of the default settings, such as the template, breadcrumbs, the header, the way it navigates, whether it floats or if it stays at the top. And then again, we can override the meta description and tags to create some more SEO value for the site. We'll click save. And because we turned off the Request a Quote and Quick Quote, what we're going to do instead is we're going to make our own page, and we're going to call it Get a Quote. And by creating a Get a Quote page, we essentially can merge that Request Quote and Quick Quote into one page into Get a Quote page. Now, by default, our contact is still in the footer, so we're going to just delete that now that we've got it on our About page. And instead, I'm going to come to Widgets, and I'm going to add a couple columns underneath here. And we'll add a button, for instance, and we'll make this Request a Quote, add a link, existing page. Well, I want to make it Request a Quote. Click OK. And then I'm going to come here. I'm going to clone it, drag this to here. And instead of Request a Quote, we're going to make it Quick Quote. Change the link to Quick Quote. Click OK. And to make it obvious what page we're on, we'll come to page title, put it there. We'll center it. And this is the Get a Quote page. And we could add more information, obviously, to this page, but it shows you how quickly we can turn 2 pages into one, and also it kind of changed the navigation. So in the get a quote, I would actually describe what a request a quote is versus the quick quote, because if it's in the main navigation, it's not always obvious to the consumer. Within a page, like you've seen, we've renamed pages. The designer, it's often can be named, start designing or design your own. It's not, but what you're going to typically do if you create a custom page, let's say we wanted to go to add page, and let's say we wanted to just display t-shirts. So we'll call it the t-shirt page. And it'll get added to the bottom. And let's say we want it actually to be a part of our, unisex apparel page. So we'll make unisex apparel, and then we're going to drag t-shirts into it, and now it's a sub page of that. And then if we come into t-shirts, we can start building upon this page. So we'll come to widgets, page title. It's going to automatically pull the title, which in our case was t-shirts. We're going to center it. Again, I'm going to choose to make it a little bit bigger. And we'll come to widgets. And we're going to display blank products that are essentially in the t-shirt category. So I'll come to blank product listing and choose, okay, we want apparel, adult t-shirts. Choose how many I want to display. And then we have the different design layouts. So again, this is more in our widgets section, but the point being is we're going to make a lot of different configurations, how we want everything to be displayed, and then we want it to be consistent from page to page. So I'm going to make several different configurations to the design and layouts and so forth. So these different settings, again, if we want consistency, the best way we can do it is, once we've created our page, is the ability to actually clone a page. So we'll come to pages, copy, and instead, let's name this sweatshirts. The page title is automatic. So you're going to see at the top, it'll say sweatshirts. And all we have to do now is come in here, change the category to sweatshirts, and everything is consistently the same as far as the look. So by copying pages, we can really start building, again, our own navigation and how we want everything to be. And by dragging the pages in the order, it actually chooses the way they display from left to right. Hopefully you find this video helpful, and it makes designing your website that much easier. Thank you.